When we talk about cutting Medicaid, they're also having to cut Medicaid because they want to put more money into this bill for ICE.
Senator, are you telling me that on top of everything else in this big ugly bill, they're also trying to add more funding to Department of Homeland Security for the sake of ICE?
Yes. Look, ICE already has plenty of money, and they need to be reined in because we've seen how ICE under the Trump administration is violating people's due process rights, right? They're taking people off the streets, disappearing them. But what this bill does is provide buckets more money to the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, not to go after people who pose a threat to public safety, but to go after, people who have been living in our communities and contributing for a very long time. They're giving them more money for that. When we talk about cutting Medicaid, they're also having to cut Medicaid because they want to put more money into this bill for ICE on top of those tax cuts for billionaires. That's exactly what's going on. In fact, they wanted I want you to know this. They put such an obscene amount of new money in for DHS and ICE that Rand Paul, very conservative member of the Republican Party, he's chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. He said, that's too much money. We don't need to give them all that money. And so what Republicans did was they ignored their own chairman. They did a runaround. Lindsey Graham got others to put in the money over the objections of Rand Paul.
God, all to fund ISIS corrupt operation on the street. We've already seen you go to El Salvador because one of your own constituents was kidnapped off the street by masked agents.
Well, no, people need to have their due process rights, respected. And this president doesn't care about the due process rights of anybody who lives in this country. And, he said the other day, I don't know if I have to abide by the Constitution. That's what we have, a lawless president.